See, I have created two servers in AWS Cloud. So if you don't know what is this AWS Cloud, so AWS Cloud is nothing but you can create a servers in AWS Cloud, nothing but same like Windows system, how we are launched as a Windows system, but companies cannot able to invest thousands of servers. Nothing but if they want to create 1,000 servers, they need to purchase 1,000 laptops. So like that, if you want to create a like server, like if you want a system in online, so in like AWS or Azure, these are companies are already set up their data centers in many locations. So what they are telling, just log in to our like account, try to create an account, and you can create the servers, but in the background it will create a physical server itself. So in AWS EC2 is a service which provide us to create a servers. You can just click on launch instance and you can create any server you want. So I have created a Ubuntu server and I have installed Artifactory and Jenkins. On one server I have installed Artifactory and on another server I have installed Jenkins. So in the previous classes I have just shown how to install this Artifactory and I have installed Jenkins. So Jenkins will run on 8080 port. So what I did, I just copied this public IP and I just given that public IP and I given 8080 so that I log into the Jenkins server. Then after what I did, I have installed Artifactory. Artifactory run on 8081 port. What I did, I just copy the public IP and I given 8081. So whenever you enter 8081, it will be auto redirect to 8082. So let it load. So this is the dashboard of Artifactory. So now I will show you how to configure this Artifactory. So Artifactory is present in one server, Jenkins is present in another server. Now I need to tell Jenkins, hey Jenkins, Artifactory is present in there. So I need to connect to Jenkins and Artifactory. That is called it as a configuration. So I need to tell Jenkins that Artifactory is located here. Like how we book in Zomato, right? We will tell the address where we need to deliver the food. In the same way, I need to tell to Jenkins, hey Jenkins, Artifactory is present in this server. Try to take that path. So in order to do that in Jenkins, we need to go to manage Jenkins. So you need to go to plugins. So first you need to install the plugin which is a Artifactory plugin. So if you search Artifactory, I already installed, so that's the reason it will comes under available plugins. Sorry, install plugins. If I search Artifactory, so if you say Artifactory plugin already installed, for you it will not show in the installed. You need to go to available and need to search Artifactory, then you need to click install without restart, then it will be installed. After installing, you need to go to manage Jenkins and you need to go to here. Before there is a, it is called as configure system, but now Jenkins was renamed to system. So now let me go to system. So just come bottom, yeah, if you see here JFrog, under JFrog you need to give the instance ID, that is Artifactory, and you need to give the URL of JFrog. Let me delete this, let me recreate again. So you need to click on add JFrog platform instance. You need to give the ID. So let me give the ID as Artifactory and URL. What is the URL? I need to copy this. You need to give like this. Let me copy from here. Slash artifactory, and you need to give the username and password. So for that, let me go to JFrog. Let me create a new user. So what is the username? Let me give a username called as DevopsEasy. So what is the password? Let me give password. Now let me click on save. Some fields contain incorrect values. What is that? Okay, I need to provide the email address as well. Let me give my email address, devopseasy@gmail.com. Now let me click on save. So successfully created user DevopsEasy. Now what I will do, I will give the information about the username, DevopsEasy, and the password. Now let me click on test connection. JFrog Artifactory not found. Let me remove this Artifactory. So now if you see, found JFrog Artifactory 7.363.7 at /artifactory. So it is not showing the distribution. Let me save this. Now I have created a pipeline project. So I will explain this pipeline. You no need to worry. So you need to go to manage Jenkins. In the same way, you need to go to tools. So we are building the Java project, so you need to configure the Maven as well. If you see, I have already configured the Maven. I have given the name as M3 and I have given the location of my Maven. Now let me explain this. If you see, what is the skeleton of Jenkins pipeline project? It will start with pipeline, open bracket and close bracket. Under the pipeline you will be having, let me explain the skeleton first, then after you will get understanding. So skeleton will be common, pipeline, open bracket, close bracket. Under the pipeline, what you will be having, if you configure any tools, you need to use tools, open bracket, close bracket. Then after inside the pipeline you will be having agent, nothing but on which server I need to run, and under that you will be having stages. Under the stages you will be having stage. So under stage, first you will clone the code, then after you will build the code, right? Under the stage you will be having steps. Under the steps you will define the commands. So this is the basic skeleton. If you want to add another stage, same skeleton will follow the same syntax. So if you observe this pipeline, what I did, I have written pipeline, I have given agent any, I have given tools because I configured the Maven tool, Maven M3. So this is the build triggers. So every minute it will run this pipeline. That is a build trigger. So under the stages, I said right, under the stages you will be having stage, under the stage you will be having steps, under the stages you will be having stage, under the stage you will be having steps. So I am calling my repository, which is a game of life repository. Then after what I did, I am doing the MVN package. Then after, if you see, I have added another stage called a server, which is a related to Artifactory. So I have given the ID name which I have given in the manage Jenkins, and the URL, username, and the password which I have given. So username was what username I have given. Let me change the username.
So here one question. One that HTTP, should we have that slash Artifactory in the URL?
We need to remove, I think. Let me remove. Then after, I need to upload this Artifactory, upload the war file to the Artifactory. What are the war file I have generated? So if you see target, I have given DevopsEasy. So let me go to the repositories. So if you click here, you can create a new repository. So if you click on quick repository creation, you need to select anything. There is a generic Gradle, so we are using Maven. Just click on Maven. Next, you need to give the repository name. Now let me give the demo DevOps. So you can see it will create repositories. Let me click on create. So repositories has created successfully. So there is demo DevOps repository. Now let me click on repositories. So if you see DevopsEasy repository is present. So same name I have given here, DevopsEasy. So this will be automatically created whenever you click on create, right? Snapshot repository will automatically created. I given that target. So now let me try to copy this and paste. And this Artifactory is not important. No companies are using right now this Artifactory. As I said before, they are converting into the Docker image, and they are storing the Docker image into private repositories of Docker Hub or ACR, that is Azure Container Registry. In AWS there is a ECR, Elastic Container Registry, but you need to learn this one as well. You can treat it as an optional. Let me delete this. Let me paste here. So if it is failed, no problem, we can try to resolve that. Let me click on build now.
Can you show the step one more time? Just copying that.
Yeah, let me check this, then after I will show. So it has failed. Sending usage report to Artifactory. Could not get Artifactory version. Yeah, this is the code.
So this code where we are putting it in the Jenkins.
I have selected pipeline project. Under that, I copy pasted the code.
Okay.
Now let me go. Let me try to change the port number.
I think here we need to put that URL ending with artifactory. Somehow
So let me try to give 8082. I will
that you
try.
removed, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now let me try to with 8082.
Slash
If it
active.
is, yeah, if it is failed, let us give the artifact.
Okay. Okay. Somehow it is two different mechanisms. Maybe while in Jenkins we have to give complete target. Yeah, IO exception.
Yeah, we need to give slash artifact, I think.
So I think when we hit the URL on the browser, it is automatically appending with slash artifactory. But in Jenkins, we have to give the complete path. Something like that is happening.
Still, it is failing.
So it could not deploy the var file. Error occurred for request put slash artifactory DevopsEasy. Um, Here is the problem.
Yeah, if you see, it has thrown an error, but it was added. It is downloading. So if you see game of life war file 3 MB download link, in the pipeline it has failed, but it has added here. So now let me go to snapshot. So let me click on packages, release bundle. Yeah, if you go to artifacts, not demo, sorry, we have used DevopsEasy, right? DevopsEasy. DevopsEasy lib snapshot local. So if you see DevopsEasy lib snapshot local game of life.var, but here pipeline was failed, it is thrown an error, but it was added, var file was added. I don't know why it has thrown an error, but game of life var file was added successfully.
One second. Can we get back to that error?
Yeah, let me open.
Saying broken pipeline build number 4. Is this possible that it can throw an error and still it did not?
Yes, yes, sometimes it will happen.
Because it clearly says that. So it's saying first it's a java.net.socket exception. Okay, all right. Let's see what it.
So if you see, there is an people who are helping. Let me check this. So he's telling I managed to fix the issue by downgrading Maven version from 3.5.2 to 3.0.4 and Artifactory 7.12.6.
A broken pipeline. That's. If we go a little bit up, was it up? He's talking about JDK here, just a little bit more up. I think we should set true for all OpenJDK builds, not limited to sanity.openjdk only. No, no, I think that's fine. So, what is the primary objective of putting this var file, or during the, what does it build when we do a build? Jenkins. What are the backend processes that happens, and as end result we can see that it has uploaded the var file
Yeah.
to the Artifactory.
So then what? Whenever we get the var file, right? So we will give that URL. Then what they will do? They will just click on that URL. Var file will be downloaded. Then they will install that software and they will test. But
But
now people are not using Artifactory. What they are doing? They are converting this var file into a Docker image. In the previously they used to use Artifactory. They used to store in the Artifactory. Then after what they used, like whatever URL we get, right, we will provide that URL to the team.
yeah.
So
Okay.
what they will do? They will download and they will install locally.
And for testing.
Yes. But now the same thing was doing differently. That's the reason Artifactory was stopped working. Like companies are not preferring Artifactory right now. They are using Docker image, and the Docker image they are storing in the private repos. That is,
Private Docker repos.
yes, Docker Hub. Some companies will use Azure like provided service, that is ACR. Some companies will use ECR. So they will storing that image there, and using that image they are creating a Docker containers.
Oh.
This Artifactory is an outdated one. but at least you need to have an idea. That's the reason we are getting many errors, because the latest version is not supporting. It might be issue with the Java.
Oh, that's they've stopped building Artifactory, I think, repos.
Yes, but it will be better, you know, at least how Artifactory will work. That's the reason I've just shown.
Okay. Yeah, it is helpful, of course. We will know how we have evolved also at the same time. Mm. So in a Docker container, if they are using this var file to build a Docker image, they will use this var file inside the Docker container, and they'll write additional Docker code.
Yeah, they will write a Docker file and they will give the path of the var file. Using the Docker
Oh.
file, they will create a Docker image.
Hmm.
So that Docker image will be pushed to the private repository. It depends upon the company. Some people will use Docker Hub private repo, some company will use ACR, some company will use ECR. But at the end, it's a repository.
Okay.
So using that repository, we are going to create a Kubernetes manifest files.
Oh. Oh.
You will deploy into the Kubernetes cluster.
And that's the end of the job, right? Of DevOps.
Not after that, we need to monitor.
Yeah, monitoring,
Yeah.
logging monitoring is there.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's end.
Okay. So as you said, the var file we are creating, right? So in the artifact we are uploading, right, in
Yeah.
JFrog.
Yes.
That's it. That is what a build job is doing in Jenkins.
Yes.
So actually, even Java developers can create their own var files once it is completed.
Yes.
Um, so there's a command called java-jar, and they give
Yes.
the class name, class path, and all. Then it will create the jar file or var file.
Yes.
Um, so then, what what is our role in this? Because they themselves can create it, right?
Yeah. Now, if we take the job of them, then they need to just work on creating the best code. So their
Code
focus
only.
will be on the code. We are taking the we are just taking the job they are doing what they are doing. We are just
Hmm.
taking and we are doing automation. We are just scheduling. We can schedule in the Jenkins.
Oh, so as soon as they commit,
Yes.
uh, then the Jenkins will automatically pull from the Git repository, and it'll create a var file. It'll do its
Yeah.
build job and create a var file. So end to end.
Yes. They
So
will just
there's
focus on writing the best code.
best code commit. That's all.
Yes.
Right, best code commit. And moreover, am I right if I say that there are 10 developers in a company? That 10 developers are committing codes. So every time, maybe not, but they define an interval that in this interval all the commits should be clubbed and from the Git, and the Jenkins should pull and do a build job.
Yes.
So they will have a like cron job. They said in Jenkins also we have facility like that because
Yes.
mm,
Yes. We have.
okay.
You can schedule at a particular time
Ah.
using build triggers, which we have discussed before.
Hmm.
And there is some branching strategies. So yesterday we have discussed. So they will
Hmm.
they will merge the code. After merging the code, whenever it comes to the master, we will take and we will start.
Build job.
Yes.
So in present scenario, Pawan, I'm just it's it's a curious question. As you said, they are going to take this var file and they're convert their building images, right? And creating new containers,
Yes.
modified containers.
Yes.
So though, so are they doing their own? Are they building their own var files, or are we even today we are only building them those var files and giving it to them?
Yeah, we as a DevOps engineer, we need to take the code, we need to build, and we need to generate an artifact, nothing but var file or jar file.
So then that artifact is created by JFrog only, no? Repo only, no? Artifact repo.
Artifact repo is helpful us to store the var file.
Oh, and then where are we creating Jenkins only? We are creating the var file.
Using Maven is a build tool. It will help us to create a var file or jar file.
Oh, so that means we are using Maven, and we
Yes.
are building var files, and we are uploading them or giving it to the developers.
Yes.
So even Jenkins is not coming into picture in this case.
Sorry, we are doing everything in Jenkins itself, right?
Ah, yeah, okay. I mean, we are integrating Jenkins with Maven. That's how we are
Yes.
building var files. Mm, but only thing is we are not integrating it with the artifactory management.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry to ask, but did we cover this var file in Jenkins?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
After this war file we get, what are we going to do with this war file?
Yeah, we will convert this var file to a Docker image. So today I just shown the artifactory which is not used in real time, but I just want to show the JFrog artifactory. But this is not the real project. So from tomorrow I'm going to show the project which we use in real time. That is, after creating the var file, I need to convert that var file into a Docker image. So I will store the Docker image in the Docker Hub private repository. So using that private repository, I will deploy it into the Kubernetes cluster.
In real time, this JFrog is not we are using right in real time.
Yes.
Any artifactory repository we are not using in real time right now means in nowadays.
Yeah, it depends upon some companies who are not implemented the Docker, so they are using Artifactory to store the var files.
But as it as it is a free source, open source like JFrog, so it can be means many companies think that our data could be compromised because of it is open source. So that is why they are not using it.
Because now like technology has changed, right? During the before Docker there is no option, so that's the reason they used to use JFrog. But now after Docker comes into the picture, there is no use of JFrog. They are directly converted into a Docker image. You can There is a Docker Hub which is a open source itself. You can store in the Docker Hub as well the images.
Okay, okay.
So but actually it should not throw an error, but it job was successfully completed, but I don't know why it has thrown an error.
To be honest, Pawan, this Jenkins had this issue since the beginning. This kind of error we've encountered before, long before in its initial some second, third versions. So it used to throw error, but the job used to get completed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is happening since it's not new. Maybe there is some, I don't know what kind of exception they are not catching. This is built in Java, Jenkins.
Yes.
Okay, so there is some exception they are not catching probably,
Yes.
but the job is done.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, I will going to show one project, then you will get some idea. If you don't know Docker and Kubernetes, you can just watch it. Anyway, we are going to start Docker and Kubernetes, right? Then during that sessions you will get some clarity. But right now, as we are focusing on the only projects, we need to focus on the project itself. Then after, anyway, after completion of Docker, I will show an again project. Right now, next 1 week will be DevOps engineer day-to-day activities. As a DevOps engineer, like how I will log in, what is my login time and logout time, what I will do as a DevOps engineer, I will try to explain, and I will help you to create, like keep project in your resume, like what project is the in the interview. If they ask what are the project you are using, for that I will take one session, and I will try to explain like how you need to explain the interview, and I will show you the project domains, everything. So introduction, like how to introduce yourself, that one, that's that part. Then after, I will show one project so that you can practice that, and I will try to show you the three to four projects so that you can practice and you can choose anything accordingly. You can add it to your resume. And not only this, you can call me anytime during attending the interviews. If you fail something, you can ask me like why I cannot able to answer this question and all. Anyway, we are not perfect while attending the interviews. Some questions which we are not expecting anything, right? Sometimes we will fail. So even I too will fail if I have attended the interviews. Yeah. Someone is asking something. You can
Yes,
tell.
sir. Actually, I want to know about things like when we are giving an interview, okay, as a DevOps engineer, as experienced DevOps engineer.
Yeah.
So I just want to know that what tools we are means we are explaining to the interviewer that in our day-to-day life, like we are using Docker or Kubernetes or Terraform. So look, Docker is vast, Kubernetes is very vast, Terraform also very vast. Okay, so if we going to study the all means all Kubernetes thing, all Terraform thing, it will be very vast and confusing. I just wanted to know that when we are explaining to the interviewer that we are doing this, so the only the connected services of particular tool should we know properly. Like if we are going if we are explaining him like we are using Docker in our company, that how Docker we are using, and means which service only we are using, we have to I want to know all this like this. Are you getting my point, Mr. Pawan?
Yes. Yes.
Because when we are going to study a particular tool like Docker, Terraform, they are very very vast. Like in Terraform, there is very much things like provisioner and modules and tenting and very much things. But we are not using in everyday life, right? For a DevOps engineer, we're not using it in everyday life. So I want to know means these means, the topics in the tools that we can explain it easily and we can crack the interview at least. Because that in the interviews are very hard, but when we go on floor on the job starting, then we have not so much things to do in the beginning. If gradually we understand and we get to know things.
Yeah, I got your point. In reality, we are not going to work on every tool, but during interviews, they will definitely ask on every tool. So you need to prepare for every tool. Like if you compare with the real life example, like for suppose if there is a restaurant, in the restaurant there is a cook. So he need to have an skill to prepare or everything. Nothing but they like for suppose if you want to go to a restaurant, if you want to eat any tiffin, so there will be people who will order some different things. So there might be idli, there like there will be bhaji, like you the cook need to know everything, but at the end depending upon the requirement he will cook that. So in the same way in companies also definitely expert everything, depending upon the project they will allocate you to the that particular tool. So coming to the tools, like in Docker, anyway for every tool there will be one session. For Docker there is a separate session, like in Docker what we are going to use, how we will use Docker, so how they can ask you the questions on Docker. So for every tool we can have a session separately and we can discuss on it, and as well as there will be some project as well as we need to discuss on every tool separately, then we will get a clarity.
Okay, okay.